Thursday, partly sunny with a high near 30. Keep independent progressive media going strong this holiday season by supporting the businesses that support AM 950. From theaters and wellness shops to our Eat Local Minnesota restaurant partners, your patronage keeps us on the airwaves. It's the best way to support local businesses and independent progressive radio. Find a full list at am950radio.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPTA 20, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Welcome to The Gailey Show, the only daily LGBTQ radio news and talk show in the United States. I am your host, John Parker. Jim Pounds, my executive producer, is in the studio.
Hey, all.
It is the first week, it's the first day of the Christmas week if you celebrate Christmas. I know there's a lot of holidays that folks are celebrating within the month of December. So I hope if your holidays have come and gone, I hope that you had a good holiday season. If your holidays are just about to get started, then I hope that you're going to have a good holiday week. We've got a interesting number of stories to talk with you about today. One of them is continuing on with our Olympics coverage. So we're going to take a look at some queer Olympic hopefuls in figure skating, and also some interesting news from the British Ice Skating Association regarding same-gender couples. We're going to get that later in the show. We're also going to talk about marriage today. And I'm sure people are like, oh my God, why are you talking about marriage? Well, there is a Texas judge, in Texas, who has now filed a case in federal court last week to overturn Obergefell, marriage equality. At the same time, there was an interesting story coming out of the Star Tribune today that was talking about how divorce rates are rising on American farms. Specifically, this was looking at Minnesota farms. So MAGA is coming for marriage equality at the same time as, one voting bloc, farmers, who are overwhelmingly MAGA, are getting divorced at higher rates. We're going to break some of that down. After last week's announcement from the Trump administration that they are pursuing the nuclear option for all states, all healthcare systems that accept Medicaid funds, that they are going to yank those funds if those systems don't comply with their vindictive measure to get rid of trans healthcare for anyone under 18. That nuclear option. There is an organization that we're going to introduce you to who is stepping in to help people find care. And there's also, I'm not going to say a loophole, but there is still a pathway forward, kind of, to keep access available. We're going to talk about that later in the show. But up first, Epstein. So the deadline came and went on Friday. And folks may be wondering, why is the Gailey Show covering the Epstein files? And I just find it perpetually interesting as it relates to this story as a queer man, as a member of the LGBTQ community, who have been called pedophiles for as long as I can remember. My entire life, the community has been called pedophiles, and this has been sexualizing kids and blah, blah, blah. And this is from, obviously, your Nazis and your far-right people. I'm talking about people who actually identify as neo-Nazis, and your far right and your MAGA and your traditional, compassionate conservatives, and frankly, one too many centrists who think that we are dangerous for the kids. I find it absolutely fascinating how a MAGA president is now covering up for one of the most notorious pedophiles in American history. So let's start with some facts before we get into them. As we know, the state of play right now, Jim hates it when I tell you facts, but we're going to do it. See how he just steps away from the camera entirely. So what we know of where we're at right today. So we know that the files were not released on Friday. I mean, there were some things that came out, but they were sort of things that either we already knew or they were massively redacted. And so today or since then, the Republican MAGA, interestingly, Congressman Thomas Massie has said that he is looking into bringing contempt proceedings because Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, did not release everything that they were supposed to release under the new law. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has said that he is going to introduce a resolution in the Senate to take legal actions of their own that the Senate can take to try and compel the Justice Department to release all of the files. There is some interesting stuff, not interesting, but new details coming out of the files. So this is reporting from multiple news outlets, specifically as it related to Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell is the person who was under maximum security prison term, and the Trump administration decided to put her in the least security term, moved her out of a jail. She's getting secret meetings that the jail officials don't even know about. I mean, things have just gotten great for her as it relates to her incarceration. Apparently, in grand jury testimony, victims were saying that Maxwell's role was largely not just recruiting, but helping young women become acclimatized to what Epstein was doing to them. And so here, quotes from that testimony, quote, "She was like a cool older sister and made comments like, 'This is what grown-ups do,' end quote." And apparently she was also instructing the girls on what they should do with Epstein, including, "This is how to give him a foot massage." Okay. So she was convicted and refused to cooperate. And now Trump administration has given her a really cozy incarceration deal. Right. According to CNBC, the Department of Justice has now restored a photo online from the files that they had Trump in it. They took it down and now it's back on there because of outcry by a lot of different people. Over the weekend, they were still releasing some files, but NPR's Luke Garrett went through the 119-page document that came out over the weekend, and he said no new major information was found out there. Interestingly, this didn't stop Fox News from publishing a headline that said, and I quote, "Epstein files explode as DOJ details discovery of powerful figures and more than 1,200 victims." Okay. Final fact here from ABC News, reporting on a statement of a group of alleged victims who said in a statement, in part, this is quoting from it, "No financial documents were released. Grand jury minutes, though approved by a federal judge for release, were fully blacked out. Not the scattered redactions that might be expected to protect victim names, but 119 full pages were blacked out." The statement concluded by saying, "We are told that there are hundreds of thousands of pages of documents still unreleased." So, Jim, before I turn it over to you for your reaction, I'm going to say my editorial here is surprise, surprise. The Trump administration didn't comply with a law. I'm shocked. I'm sure we're all shocked about this. And this is frankly his MO. This is what he does, right? He is found allegedly guilty of a law that he doesn't comply with. He gets sued, and then he just drags the thing out in court for years to make sure that he never actually has to comply with the law. And if he's really lucky, he'll just run it up to the Supreme Court, who basically says this guy is innocent no matter what he does. This is his playbook over and over and over again, settling out of court if he can settle it to make it go away. But Jim, your reaction?
Well, and the reason I backed off is because I'm interested in having a discussion about this rather than either one of us just sort of pontificating.
Facts are not pontificating.
Giving our speech about something. So I'd like to talk back and forth because I think that's more interesting. I know some things and you know some things. One thing that I read at Associated Press was that there were 14 files that they could quantify were on the DOJ website about Epstein that have now vanished. One of them was the photograph you mentioned of Trump, but there are 13 other files that have not been returned. So they were there, now they're not. To me, it's further evidence of tampering, further evidence of manipulation, further evidence of dishonesty. I mean, it's funny that dishonesty and Pam Bondi's name match each other and rhyme together, that she's been dishonest from the beginning. But I think you bring up a really interesting point about Trump. He has proven in this country that you can get away with murder, since he's murdering people every day in South America. You can get away with murder because our justice system really is not prepared to deal with sort of a megalomaniac criminal. And I'm sure there have been others, but this guy's got the means to make us look like a foolish country, and he's doing it year after year after decade after decade.
I haven't gone through, obviously, his entire all the lawsuits that have ever been brought against him, because I'm sure there are dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of them. But it does feel like the Justice Department specifically, I'm sorry, not the Justice Department, the American judicial system
Thank you.
has been ill-equipped to handle him.
Yes.
That he has played the American judicial system like a fiddle,
Yes.
and has pretty much gotten everything he's wanted. And even when he didn't get it and he had to settle out of court, he was able to make things disappear so that it wouldn't continue to come back. When I look at the settlement from Trump University or the Trump steaks, not like STEAKS, like food.
The meat. Yes, right.
I'm just saying with me today, aren't you?
No, he has said, he has proven there is no justice. There has been no justice for Donald Trump in the United States. No real justice as any of us would define it. And frankly, if any of the people that support him were victims of his, and many of them are beginning to be now, like the folks in Nebraska, where Tyson is closing their beef plant, laying off 3,200 people in a town of 11,000. What percent do you suppose of Nebraska voted for Trump? Well, what's happening on farms, I know we're going to talk about that. He is now starting to chop the heads off of the people who voted for him. And the American justice system, and that was a perfect word, John, that was exactly what has failed, has let him get away with it his entire life. And if there is ever any justice in the United States of America, it must be meted out to Donald Trump. If it doesn't happen with him, we've been boasting about something that is not true to other countries and setting ourselves above other countries. So this will be the litmus test, as long as he's alive, whether justice is served against him, which he has long deserved, or not.
Well, I mean, at this point, the Supreme Court has said that any act that he does, the general understanding is that if it is a presidential act, it has immunity. That's what the Supreme Court has said. And so it'll be very interesting to see how things become classified here once he is no longer in office. What will be considered presidential and what will not be considered presidential. But we got to take a break here. You are listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and AM and WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk. More after this very quick break.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Is your home ready for the holidays? 'Tis the season to be jolly, and nothing makes me jollier than a clean home. Maybe you breathed a sigh of relief that Thanksgiving wasn't at your house this year, but now you're realizing you are going to be hosting something in December and your home isn't ready. But don't worry, there's time to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to come out and get things in order before your friends and family come over. Zero Res can take care of any surface in your home, from tiles, carpets, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, and more. Don't DIY it. Call Zero Res because you know they're safe and effective. They have a 4.9 rating on Google reviews with over 21,000 satisfied customers. Go ahead and get clean and don't miss this deal. Call Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Spots are filling up fast, so don't wait. Lock yours in today. Happy holidays from all of us at Zero Res. Backward or forward spells the same.
Across this country, LGBTQ rights are under threat. This is a struggle that the LGBTQ community knows all too well. Since 1987, Outfront Minnesota has been fighting for LGBTQ rights and protections here at home, and this work is needed now more than ever. Hard-fought wins here in the state of Minnesota are at risk. From the ban on the harmful practice of conversion therapy that passed in 2023 to transgender protection secured in our State Human Rights Act in 1993, and even national recognition of our same-sex marriage protections that we secured in 2013 are at risk. Outfront Minnesota has helped Minnesota become a national leader in LGBTQ rights, and they will hold the line to make sure we don't lose what we've gained. But they need you. Now is the time to step up and support Outfront Minnesota and LGBTQ rights here in our state. Outfront Minnesota needs your financial support today to strengthen LGBTQ protections at home, at school, and at the state capitol. Learn more and make your gift at outfront.org/give. That's outfront.org/give.
Hi, it's Penny from Nightingale, your gathering spot near 26th and Lyndale in South Minneapolis since 2012. Come check out the fun and vibrant atmosphere. Besides our traditional favorites like the Nightingale burger and fries, did you know we also have delicious vegetarian and vegan options? Plus, we have one of the best gluten-free menus in town. And for drinks, our bar staff is always creating fun new cocktails along with a thoughtfully curated wine and beer list. Join us at Nightingale where good times and great flavors come together.
Let Next Chapter Booksellers help you with your holiday shopping. Next Chapter Booksellers has the perfect gift ideas. Books make for easy, thoughtful gifts that are a breeze to wrap and ship. And if you're not sure what book to get, the friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at recommendations for any age and taste. Explore their wide selection of puzzles and games for interactive family fun. And if you're still stumped, then try a Next Chapter Booksellers gift card. That's Next Chapter Booksellers in St. Paul, your destination for easy-to-give gifts.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I am John Parker. We are already coming up on the bottom of the hour. So last week, the Trump administration announced basically a nuclear option to end all health care for transgender youth. So that
States'
is
rights.
anyone under the age of 18, regardless of what state that they live in. So obviously we know that there are MAGA states who are banning all health care for trans kids. And there are blue states like Illinois and like Minnesota who have legal protections for that. Well, the Trump administration, through its Health and Human Services Secretary, RFK Jr.,
Oh, brother.
health and major quotation marks there, said that they will end all funding through Medicaid. So all Medicaid funding to any hospital system, clinic that takes that funding. If they provide trans health care, they will lose that funding. They will suspend it immediately. So that is regardless of the state that the hospital's in. It is regardless of state laws. It is regardless of parental rights. It is regardless of the research. And I have worked in LGBTQ health education. The research is meticulous. There is decades of it, of actual real health researchers and real doctors and nurse practitioners and psychiatrists and nurses who are like, does this healthcare actually help trans kids? And they did the research into it, and they've been doing the research for decades now. And the overwhelming consensus is such that major health organizations like the American Medical Association and the American the Pediatrics Association have all said, actually, what we have discovered here in terms of these various treatment options actually works. So regardless of that, they're saying now, if a system accepts Medicaid funding and they offer trans healthcare, unless they get rid of those programs, they're going to lose their Medicaid funding. And so it's not a loophole, but that obviously does not apply to a private practice or an independent clinic or independent physicians or etc. who don't currently take Medicaid. They would not be affected by this. And so there is this sort of fast movement right now to how can we get funding to the independent folks. So Massachusetts, of course, already on the ball with this. They are advancing measures to how can we move money into independent clinics who are not reliant on Medicaid funding. Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani in New York City, he is already pledging millions of dollars to fund and preserve access to healthcare for transgender youth. Again, anyone under the age of 18. But there's also an organization that I wanted to highlight for folks, and that is the Trans Youth Emergency Project. They have recently been scaling up their organizational capacity to meet this particular moment. And they have said to Aaron in the Morning, which is an amazing news organization. You can subscribe to them through Substack or just get their e-newsletter right to your inbox, which is how I have it set up. They provide the best transgender news and analysis in the country. And they were doing an interview with them, and they said, Trans Youth Emergency Project, that they are ready to meet the moment here. They provide custom patient services to help families with trans kids find healthcare providers. And they are able to provide travel grants to those families to help them go from Indiana into Chicago, from Iowa into Minnesota. And their services currently are available to parents and legal guardians of a trans youth who's under the age of 18, whose access to healthcare has been negatively impacted by either federal or state laws. Also, transgender youth under 18, so themselves, if they live in Alabama or have lost care due to Trump's executive order. I'm not quite sure exactly what that is, but that's their information that they have on their website. And so I really encourage folks, if you are outside of Illinois, if you're outside of Minnesota, their website, you go to southernequality.org. They are not a subsidiary, but they're part of Southern Equality, and you can, or just Google Trans Youth Emergency Project, and you can find their website and find their contact information. And interestingly, we need to note here, since the beginning of the year, they have been threatening this. It hasn't been structurally to the level that they're doing right now that they announced last week, but we've seen hospital systems preemptively comply with this. And so even in Chicago, a blue city, there are no major medical hospital systems currently providing healthcare to trans kids under the age of 18.
A trans protective state. I'm not saying the right word.
Trans refuge state.
Trans refuge state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these threats, these threats are enough, as it turns out, to get hospital systems to just completely shutter and fold. And that's really difficult, because it seems like science and healthcare in this country for LGBTQ kids is, well, I don't care that there's a lot of research around it. It makes me feel weird. And because I feel weird about it and I don't understand the science, I'm going to tell you that you can't have that healthcare. Despite the fact that it's, parental rights, despite the fact that the doctor's like, yeah, this actually works, despite the fact that we have all of this research, I don't like it, so nobody can have it. Okay. And here's the thing about that. God says not to. Here's my problem with that. I, as a queer person, should not have to live by the religious rules.
Lunacy.
Okay, Jim.
Sorry.
The religious rules of another person.
Right.
That should not be dictating my access to healthcare. And interestingly, we have something for youth called conversion therapy that all of the research says, ooh, no, this is really, really bad. We should not be doing this anymore to kids. Like, we tried it for decades and the outcomes were absolutely terrible, including suicidal ideation and actually people dying of suicide.
Right.
Oh, but the Supreme Court says that's fine.
Hurting kids is fine.
So trying to harm and psychologically torture kids to not be queer and trans, we're going to allow, but we're going to take away the ability to practice safe medicine because some people are like, oh, well, the Bible doesn't say that they should be able to do that. And I just feel icky about it.
Because religion, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this,
Jim, don't.
empowers the stupidest among us.
Okay. And then you got to take it there. And
those of you that are in my corner agree, right? Let's nod our heads.
all right. We're going to take a break here. I'm going to revisit this point because I'm not just going to let that stand. You listen to The Gaily Show. More after this break.
This is Santita Jackson. Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. Central, we'll bring you the best progressive talkers, thinkers, and doers on AM 950, Minnesota's progressive voice.
There really is no place like home. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Home Health. When you're faced with an illness or an injury, being able to stay at home and receive care is important. Our home health offers a wide range of services, including skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapies, aides, homemakers, in-home respite care, and 24/7 live-in care. We'll work closely with your primary care provider to come up with an individualized plan for you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Some versions of A Christmas Carol are hot toddies, sweet and cozy. Open Eye Theater's holiday tradition, Scrooge in Rouge, it's a Boilermaker, a raucous Victorian vaudeville-style musical that spikes your holiday with camp and chaos. Scrooge in Rouge is backed by audience demand for the third year in a row. Celebrate the holidays with Open Eye Theater, now through December 28th. Bring your friends, bring your festive spirit, and leave your figgy pudding at home. Christmas can be a drag in the best way. Tickets at openeyetheater.org.
Je te dis joyeux Noël, tu me dis joyeux Noël.
Hey, Francois, look at those pretty gifts.
Oui, j'ai commandé des macarons sur nicoletsmacarons.com.
You ordered these macarons at nicoletsmacarons.com? That's great because they ship throughout the country.
Oui, et ils ont même mis le logo de mon entreprise sur les macarons.
And they put your company logo on the macaroons.
Et voilà, un cadeau pour toi.
A box for me? Thank you, Francois. And I have a gift for you from nicoletsmacarons.com.
Joyeux Noël.
Hey, Chanhassen and Eden Prairie. It's Alex with Buzzcut Mowing. Winter's on its way. Why spend your morning shoveling snow when I can take care of it for you? I provide fast, thorough, and reliable snow removal. Your driveway and sidewalk stay clear, safe, and completely stress-free. Stay warm, skip the back-breaking work, and let me handle all the heavy lifting this season. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com today. Make winter easier, safer, and more enjoyable with Buzzcut Mowing.
Let Next Chapter Booksellers help you with your holiday shopping. Next Chapter Booksellers has the perfect gift ideas. Books make for easy, thoughtful gifts that are a breeze to wrap and ship. And if you're not sure what book to get, the friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at recommendations for any age and taste. Explore their wide selection of puzzles and games for interactive family fun. And if you're still stumped, then try a Next Chapter Booksellers gift card. That's Next Chapter Booksellers in St. Paul, your destination for easy-to-give gifts.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 37. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 26. And Tuesday, partly sunny with a high near 30. Make your holiday celebrations even sweeter with a unique treat from an Eat Local Minnesota restaurant. From gourmet gift boxes at Nicolette's Macarons to timeless comfort food and seasonal bakery favorites at Cafe Latte, Eat Local Minnesota connects you with high-quality local food for every festive occasion. More details at eatlocalminnesota.com.
AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPTA 20 Chicago's Progressive Talk. Welcome back to The Gaily Show. What are you laughing at me for?
I'm just smiling. I'm trying to make you smile.
It is 33 minutes after the hour. I am John Parker, also streaming on our YouTube channel right now. If you like what we're doing on YouTube, please consider subscribing and leave us a comment. We want to know what you'd like us to cover in 2026. We're already coming up with our plans for what we're going to do. Our anniversary, our 1-year anniversary as a daily show is coming up the first week of January.
Wow.
But you were, okay, so... I want to honor, Jim, that you have a very strident view against religion, and that's free speech. Yes.
Yes.
I am trying to talk to those folks who maybe go to church every once in a while, think
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't think they identify with a particular religion, whether that be, you know,
Right.
Christianity, Judaism,
Right.
Islam,
Spirituality.
Buddhism,
Yeah.
etc.,
Totally.
that think it may be all right to make me have to live under their religious doctrine. And I should not have to do that in the freedom of religion. Like I should have freedom of religion. I don't have freedom of religion though as a queer person. You don't have that, Jim. We are constantly living under rules that are rooted in the Christian Bible, and access to health care is one of them. And so healthcare that harms LGBTQ kids always seems to be a-okay with the Christian Bible, and they all seem to run and get elected, and they all seem to shove it down our throats. But when we have actual healthcare that helps kids, and we've seen it help kids, now suddenly it's, oh, no, that science is bad. I don't believe in that. And I don't really want to believe in that anyway because it just makes me feel weird. I don't care if it makes you feel weird. I've never gotten these calls from a pollster, but if a pollster called me and said, do you agree with, you know, medical providers offering gender affirming care to youth? I would say that's not I don't have to have an opinion about that. My opinion does not matter on that. My approval or non-approval should not dictate whether somebody gets medical care. We do not put treatment options for diabetes or dementia or heart conditions or depression or anxiety to a popular vote.
Right.
But why is it when it's LGBTQ healthcare, suddenly randos who have no medical degrees get to have a say in that?
This was the point I was trying to make. It's not everybody who's religious. Of course not. I have some faith of my own, and that's not what this is about. I'm only speaking of people who use religion dishonestly as a bludgeon on other people, as a weapon against other people. It's not just Christians. There's lots of other religions that do the same thing. So I'm saying if you're a religious person who thinks, I'm going to batter this person over the head with my religion, I'm saying, whoever you are, you're wrong. And you don't have the right to do that. You can batter yourself over your own head about your religion to your heart's content. But as soon as you walk out of your house, you're part of our greater society and greater good. And we all have some responsibility to each other's pursuit of happiness.
Oh, interesting that you talk about the greater good here, because that's going to segue us really nicely into our next story. So if you believe Amy Coney Barrett, Supreme Court Justice, and you take her at her word and just sort of ignore the fact that she lied about protecting Roe v. Wade, then you would think that, okay, marriage equality is fine. It's safe. Sorry, I got a problem on my laptop. You would assume that everything's a-okay because she was just giving an interview saying it's good. We're not going to overturn it.
Right.
Then you have Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, who basically said in his concurring opinion to overturning Roe v. Wade, please give me a case. I want to overturn marriage equality in the United States.
Right.
And you had Kim Davis, who failed this year. She tried taking her court case up all the way to the Supreme Court to get marriage equality overturned. They said, no, we're not going to do it. And you have the log cabin Republicans who sit there and say, oh, those radical lefty gays, they keep trying to scare everybody about marriage equality. Like they're not going to overturn it. You know, Republicans are not doing that. Okay, well, that's ignoring politicians from across the country, MAGA ones, who are saying, yes, we need to get rid of marriage equality.
Right.
It's ignoring people currently working in this administration who say, yeah, we should get rid of marriage equality. I'm kind of thinking about, the Secretary of Defense right now. And
if he's sober.
Here is now Judge Diane Hensley of Waco, Texas, who has been fighting for years to say, I should not, this is her, she's like, I should not have to follow impartiality as a state judge. Like, those ethical rules of impartiality should not have to apply to me because, and I'm quoting here, I'm a Christian.
So everybody look out. There's a loaded Christian
So
on the
since
bench.
Obergefell, she has been refusing, Judge Hensley, to perform any marriage for same-sex couples.
Well.
And so people came back and said, wait a minute, like, no. And the Texas Commission on Judicial Conduct opened an investigation into her and said, wait a minute, you can't, as a judge, there has to be impartiality.
Right.
You are not a priest. You are not a pastor. You are a judge. You are neutral. The government is saying this is legal. You are a representative of the government. You can't just say, I'm going to do, marriages and marriages for
straight
heterosexuals,
people.
and you're not going to do that for queer couples.
You dope.
So they said in 2019, if you quote, Texas Justice Court Training Center Executive Director Thea Whalen said, if you are going to perform marriages, you must perform marriages for everyone. Well, she kept fighting. She got the Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who is also running to be senator next year of Texas. She won. The Texas State Supreme Court this year unanimously said that judges can discriminate. They don't have to be impartial anymore. They don't have. There's no that part of ethics does not apply anymore.
Yeah.
And now Judge Hensley, not satisfied with that ruling, has filed a lawsuit in federal court in Waco, Texas, asking that the court overturn Obergefell.
Yep. It's coming back. Yep.
So I don't know what to do with this.
How do you mean?
Because you want to you sit there and our colleagues across the aisle, the log cabin Republicans, who are sitting there saying that I'm running around, I'm one of those news media people running around going, oh my God, they're going to overturn marriage equality, and there's no facts to back that up. I believe there are some facts to say that there are significant parts of the MAGA movement that do want to take down marriage equality, and they are trying to do it. And now we have a judge who is asking a federal court, please overturn marriage equality.
Yep. Well, I would say people in the log cabin, and I've been to a couple of log cabin meetings back when I was trying to recover from being a Republican, and they are not our colleagues. I will correct you on that. They are as opposed.
No, hang on.
They are as opposed to the positive approach of a progressive person. I don't care what their sexuality is.
There are policies that we actually agree on. I was looking into this.
A few.
The conversion therapy. We are on board with the log cabin Republicans. They are on board with us, however you want to say it, of banning conversion therapy. We are on board with that. No, they are also on board with asylum and providing pathways for LGBTQ people who are being discriminated against through state violence in their other countries.
Yep.
They want to have a pathway for them to come to the country.
Good
So
job.
those are two major policy areas
Good
related to healthcare and immigration that we are 100% aligned on.
Good job, log cabin Republicans.
So is it hair on fire? Is it? I don't know. I don't know. But here again, now we have another legal assault coming from MAGA.
I think if good people in this country are I think they were fed up about February 15th of this year with the crap they saw in Washington. And every day, another couple thousand, 4,000 people go, this is insane. And it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. And when the Republicans get down to an approval rate of about 28%, you're going to see the lemmings jump off the cliff, because these people running this federal government are not pro-America. They are not pro the people of America. They are trying to harm the vast majority of America, economically or otherwise. So they are enemies as far as I'm concerned.
You're again taking it in a different direction, but it does somehow, I can bring that back into what we're talking about right now, which is the divorce rate going up amongst farmers who are pretty much, the overwhelming majority are MAGA, and they went hard for him, Trump, in 2024. And now, a year later, we keep getting all of this reporting about how bad things are
on farms,
in farming communities. And we see now the divorce rate is starting to uptick in farming communities. This is from reporting today in the Minneapolis, Minnesota Star Tribune.
Star Tribune, yeah.
Where since 2020, these have started, they've kept going up. And it's now at 8.3%. And this is a really interesting story. Well argued, well researched by Cole Reynolds, who is I want to mention that because it looks like Cole Reynolds is an intern. So it was really great to see this reporting from him. But something that I would have liked to have seen is that questions about their politics. And I don't understand this as a former journalist, broadcast journalism, and someone who, is an adjunct faculty of journalism at a community college. I don't understand this reporting where we are treating farmers like they are victims with no agency, about how terrible everything is, about how these economic policies are harming them, but we're not getting the question of, do you regret your vote? And I say that's weird to me because I grew up, my dad's family are cherry farmers, and some of them are actually cattle farmers and corn farmers and soybean farmers, and they've diversified. And they are political animals. I mean, they've got an opinion and political analysis on so many things, from gender identity to international trade relations. And yet when I read this reporting, I get this snapshot of people who are apolitical, and they're just living at the mercy of the weather. And it's just so hard to be dealing with all of these economics that we it's almost even like infantilizing, like they don't actually understand the economics, that the economics are really difficult. And I'm like, this is not a representation of farming that I am used to seeing. And so it's, when you see these divorce rates now going up, you've got, MAGA coming after marriage equality, while their economic policies are leading to divorce rates going up in one of their most heavily popular constituent bases. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? All right, we are going to take another break here. You are listening to The Gailey Show. We're going to talk about Olympics when we come back.
Okay.
More after this break.
Some versions of A Christmas Carol are hot toddies, sweet and cozy. Open Eye Theater's holiday tradition, Scrooge in Rouge, it's a Boilermaker, a raucous Victorian vaudeville-style musical that spikes your holiday with camp and chaos. Scrooge in Rouge is backed by audience demand for the third year in a row. Celebrate the holidays with Open Eye Theater, now through December 28th. Bring your friends, bring your festive spirit, and leave your figgy pudding at home. Christmas can be a drag in the best way. Tickets at openeyetheater.org.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches. turkey, bacon, avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Hi, I'm Jay from Greenhouse Salon and Shop. If your current salon experience feels rushed or impersonal, come feel the difference at Greenhouse. Our artists create personalized styles in a warm, inclusive space, and our shop is full of unique gifts from local women makers. See some of what's in store and book your appointment online at greenhousebrynmar.com. Better yet, stop by 403 Cedar Lake Road South in the quaint Bryn Mawr neighborhood of Minneapolis. Greenhouse, where every client feels cared for.
In today's uncertain times, Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces believes that a fire can add comfort and security to your life. At Woodland, our mission is to connect you to a place for fire that works.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces installed our wood stove years ago, and we still love it. Watching the fire, feeling the heat is a joy we experience every day. And knowing we have a reliable heat source makes us feel snug and safe.
There are many choices in wood, gas, or electric. For diversity and styles, at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we display over 180 models, and 35 of these are burning displays. You can experience the glow and warmth of a live fire.
Whether wood, gas, or electric, find a fire that warms your heart, a fire that adds comfort and security to your life. See the many choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, located on the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis, and online at woodlandstoves.com.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces since 1977. For over 48 years, our slogan has been, out of the ordinary products and services. Our mission is to get you a fireplace that works in your life.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our local small businesses. Do you want more leads, more store traffic, more customers? Thousands of local businesses, just like yours, count on Minuteman Uptown to drive sales. We make your business stand out and show out. We print everything from signage, promotions, and direct marketing. We connect you to the community. Choose Minuteman Uptown because we share your values, and we are a proud union shop. Contact us today at mpuptown.com.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I am John Parker. We are coming up on the top of the hour in studio with my executive producer, Jim Pounds. I got to find some like Olympic sports music for us so we can introduce our, when we're going to do an Olympic story, but we're going to continue our coverage of the 2026 Olympics, which will be at Milano Cortina in February. Just last week, was it already last week or the week before, we interviewed Chris McDermott Mostowy, who is I just totally blanked on his name, who is a speed skater may make it to the Olympic team for the United States. We're going to be watching that. The trials are going to be the first or second week of January. Yes, Jim?
I was just going to say, and he attended McAllister College for those in Minnesota.
There we go.
That's another connection. He doesn't live here now. I can't remember where he lives. Colorado Springs, maybe? I'm not
Connor.
sure.
I said Chris. Connor. Jeez.
McDermott
It's a
Stowe.
Monday. Yeah, Connor McDermott Mostowy.
Yeah.
So you can check out that interview with him. He just barely missed the Olympics 4 years ago. So we are, going to be keeping our fingers crossed for him. But there's some interesting news out of Britain related to figure skating. So I thought before we get into that, let's talk about some out figure skaters that we may see at the Olympics. So there is Lewis Gibson. He is an ice dancer. He is the best British ice dancer with his partner Lila Fear. So I'm pretty confident saying that we will see him at the Olympics, given that he has dominated. He and Lila have dominated ice dance in Britain. He'll get the spot. They'll get the spot. We'll see them at the Olympics. Very exciting. Guillaume Cizeron. He is a French ice dancer, and he has a new partner. Laurence, what is her last name?
Oh, I don't know.
Can you look that up for me?
I sure
Laurence, I know her first name is Laurence. He already a gold medalist with his previous partner, Gabriel Papadakis. was it 4 years ago? It might have been 4 years ago, or the Olympics before that. He is absolutely phenomenal. We've been watching him this season, and I think he's going to get the gold again. He's just absolutely
Laurence
Fournier-Baudry. So those two absolutely phenomenal. Again, they're dominating the French ice dance scene. So we're going to see Guillaume at the Olympics in February. Paul Poirier, he is Canadian ice dancer. Again, he has been dominated with his partner, the Piper Gillis, the Canadian ice dance scene. So most likely, 100%, he's going to get that. They're going to get that spot. We'll see them in Milano. Now, for some singles skaters, Amber Glenn for the United States, absolutely phenomenal individual woman skater. I adore her. She is the greatest practitioner of the triple axel in all of American history for women. Just absolutely, when she lands those things, it is like, oof, fantastic. She was the Grand Prix final champion last year. She's been a two-time U.S. national champion. When she's on, she is on and very hard to beat. But there's a lot of stiff competition on the women's side of things. I believe they have 3 spots for the Olympics. So if everything goes well at nationals in January, we should see her there. I will just say, as someone who's been watching figure skating since the early 90s, if Amber is on, I see her at the top, gold medal. Consistency, though, has been a thing for her, and we're going to actually try to get her on the show. Fingers crossed. There's also Jason Brown from the United States. He is a great skater, but he doesn't jump well. I'm just going to say it. He's got some lovely, he has great choreography, great skating skills, great component scores. But jumping is just not even just the quad jump. It's like other jumps that you think, okay, you should be having these, Jason, at this point. He doesn't really have them. We'll see. He's going to make a play for the Olympics, I believe. We'll see how that goes. I don't really expect him to be competitive if he does make it to the Olympics. I wouldn't even say I'm expecting it. He won't be competitive because he doesn't have a quad.
If this is his last year, I could see them putting him on the squad for that, at least.
Everybody loves Jason Brown. I love watching him skate. But he skates for his love of skating, and it is a competition, though, at the end of the day. If you're going to skate for your love of skating, go professional, and he's going to draw all the crowds, and he's going to make a lot of money. But it is, at the end of the day, a competition, and he doesn't come with the arsenal to compete at the end of the day. There's also Kevin Imos. He is also a French men's skater. I love Kevin, but he has a lot of consistency issues. He is one of the top. He used to be the top French national champion, and then he's been displaced from that role by his competitor. Blanking on his name too. I can see his face so perfectly. But Kevin, I believe they have 2 spots, so I believe Kevin will be at the Olympics as well in February. If they're down to 1 spot, though, it will not, unfortunately, be Kevin. There's also Filippo Ambrosini, who is an Italian pairs skater. So we'll see how that works out. Was at the World Championships earlier this year. But Italy, as the hosts, are going to try to have their top tier talent. Hopefully that will include Filippo Ambrosini in their lineup as well at the Olympics. But where I was going with this is that Britain has become the 3rd country, the 3rd skating union to allow same gender couples to compete in pairs and in ice dance. This follows Finland earlier this year and Canada a few years ago. And if people are going, oh God, woke nonsense, now we're going to have to see 2 guys and 2 women be ice dancers and have them be pairs. Here's the thing. Here's the reason why this is coming about. Guys aren't getting into ice dance. So these young girls are saying, I want to be an ice dancer. I want to skate in pairs. There's no guys. So are we just going to shut down the entire program? Interesting recruitment issue to be dealing with. And I got so much into the individual skaters. We are out of time, so I might pick up the story again tomorrow. But very interesting to see that. And we're very excited to see where it goes. All right, that's all for us today. Up next on WCPT 820 is Democracy Now! On AM 950 is The Matt McNeil Show. Stay tuned after that for Native Roots Radio, and then at 10 p.m. Central, step into the unknown with Greg Bakken on Ghost Box Radio. And until this time tomorrow, keep it queer, America.
Keep it queer.